Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be exploring the fascinating world of Canadian coins. We're going to take a look at Canada's top 4 5-cent coins, and trust me, you won't want to miss the surprises we have in store for you. So make sure to watch till the very end. From rare finds to historic designs, these coins have stories that every numismatist will appreciate. Let's get started. Have you ever looked at a coin and thought, what if this little piece of metal was worth more than just a few cents? Well, that's the story we're about to unfold today. Picture yourself walking into a coin shop, scanning through trays of seemingly ordinary currency. But there, nestled between the other coins, you spot something. Catches your eye. You pick it up and it's a 2002 Canadian 5-cent piece. Now, before you think, it's just a nickel, right? Let me tell you, you might be holding something extraordinary. The 2002 Canada 5-cent piece, also known as the nickel, might look like any other coin at first glance. But this is one with a hidden history, a unique design, and a collector appeal that you won't find in just any pocket change. This coin, though minted in vast quantities, holds a story that most people don't know. One that could potentially be worth thousands of dollars today. So, how did this ordinary 5-cent coin end up being worth so much more than its face value? Let's take a deep dive into its history, its design, and what makes it stand out among the thousands of other coins in the world. The year 2002 might not seem like an important one in the grand history of Canada's coinage, but it marks the release of something that would go on to intrigue collectors. To understand why, we need to take a step back and look at the evolution of Canadian coinage itself. For centuries, Canada's currency has evolved, with many changes in design, material, and symbolism. If we rewind to the early days of Canada's coinage, you'll notice that coins weren't always as familiar to us as they are today. The 5-cent piece has been around for much longer than the 2002 edition, of course, but it's what happened in that year that changed the story of this small but important coin in 2002. Canada's Mint released a new design for its 5-cent piece. While that might sound unremarkable, the devil is truly in the details. This version of the 5-cent coin features a specific design that would come to be known as the blurry or mottled nickel. It was minted in a period when the Royal Canadian Mint was experimenting with different minting processes and materials, and these changes led to some unexpected outcomes. The design of the coin at its core was still quite familiar to Canadians. On the obverse side, you'll find the iconic image of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by artist Susanna Blunt. This was the standard effigy of the Queen used on Canadian coins at the time, and it's instantly recognizable to anyone who's ever held a Canadian coin. But the real story of the 2002 5-cent piece lies on the reverse side, the side where you see the beaver, one of Canada's most iconic symbols. The beaver has been featured on Canadian 5-cent pieces for decades, a nod to Canada's rich history of fur trading and its national identity. The beaver on this coin is detailed and stands proudly, a tribute to the country's heritage. What makes this specific coin so special? The real magic lies in the minting process. The Royal Canadian Mint in 2002 faced some challenges that would affect the appearance of certain coins. Due to a change in the composition of the metal used in the coins, the mint began to produce some nickels with a distinctive, blurry appearance. This wasn't intentional. It was a result of a production error. An error that went unnoticed for some time. It wasn't until coin collectors and enthusiasts started to notice something unusual about certain 2002 5-cent pieces that the full story began to unfold. Some of these coins were strikingly different from others. There was something off about the clarity of the design. Upon closer inspection, they discovered that the beaver image on the reverse side looked blurry, almost as if the die had been worn or overused. Now, if you're not familiar with coin collecting, you might wonder, why would a blurry design make a coin more valuable? The answer is rooted in the world of numismatics, the study and collection of coins. Coin collectors prize rarity, uniqueness, and imperfections. A coin that has a design flaw or a production error is often seen as more valuable, especially if that flaw is rare and difficult to find. This blurry 2002 nickel became known as the blurry beaver among collectors, and that's when the excitement began. As news spread about the rarity of these coins, collectors started scouring coin shops, auctions, and even everyday change to find one of these elusive pieces. But what makes these blurry coins so valuable? Is it just the error that makes them special, or is there something more to it? Let's break it down. First, consider the rarity. The Royal Canadian Mint produces millions of coins every year, and even though errors do happen during the minting process, most of them are caught and corrected quickly. But not all errors are easy to spot, and not all of them are fixed. This means that a very small number of these blurry 2002 5-cent pieces manage to slip through the cracks. Their rarity makes them highly sought after by collectors. Second, there's the story behind the coin. When you hold one of these 2002 blurry 5-cent pieces, you're holding a piece of history. It's not just a coin, it's a rare artifact of the Royal Canadian Mint's experimental period, a glimpse into the sometimes unpredictable nature of coin production. For collectors, owning a coin with such an interesting backstory adds a layer of intrigue and value. Now, you might be wondering, how do you identify one of these rare, blurry 2002 nickels? The key is in the details of the reverse side. Look closely at the beaver's image, especially around the edges of its body and tail. If the details seem softer, fuzzier, or less defined than usual, then you might be looking at one of these rare coins. Of course, the value of these coins isn't just about their design or rarity, it's also about demand. As more and more collectors become aware of these elusive nickels, the demand for them has grown, driving up their value. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, I understand that it's rare, but how much is it actually worth? Well, that's where the excitement really kicks in. The value of a 2002 blurry 5-cent piece has fluctuated over the years, but one thing is clear: it's far more valuable than just a nickel. In fact, a well-preserved, verified blurry 2002 5-cent coin has been known to sell for upwards of $37,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $37,000. Now, you might be wondering how such a small coin could command such an astronomical price. The answer lies in the factors we've discussed: rarity, demand, and the uniqueness of the error. When you find a coin that has such a fascinating backstory and a flaw that sets it apart from the millions of other coins produced that year, you're looking at a highly coveted collector's item. In the world of numismatics, prices for rare coins like these can vary depending on their condition, the extent of the flaw, and the overall demand in the market. Some 2002 blurry nickels have sold for even more than $37,000 at auction, while others have gone for less. But the fact remains that this coin is considered one of the most valuable 5-cent pieces in Canadian history. So, what's the takeaway here? Keep an eye on your change. You never know when you might stumble upon a coin that could make you a small fortune. That ordinary 5-cent piece might just turn out to be a piece of numismatic history. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and thought, what if this ordinary piece of currency was worth far more than it seems? That's exactly the kind of question you might find yourself asking when you come across a 2006 Canadian 5-cent coin. Now, before you dismiss it as just another nickel, let me take you on a journey that might just change the way you look at this little piece of metal. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this seemingly simple coin could be worth thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right, thousands. So, what makes the 2006 Canada 5-cent coin stand out in the crowded world of numismatics? It all starts with a blend of history, design, and a minting error that took this coin from being an everyday piece of currency to something highly sought after by collectors. To fully appreciate the value of this coin today, we need to first explore its origins, the intricacies of its design, and the circumstances that turned it into a rare find. The 5-cent coin, also known as the nickel, has been a part of Canadian currency for over a century. Over time, the design has evolved, reflecting Canada's changing identity and historical milestones. While most of us are familiar with the familiar face of Queen Elizabeth II on Canadian coins, including the 5-cent piece, it's the reverse side of the coin that holds the key to this specific coin's value. Released in 2006, The 5-cent coin features the classic design of the beaver, one of Canada's most iconic and beloved national symbols. The beaver has been a part of Canadian coinage since 1937, and it continues to symbolize the country's historical connection to the fur trade and its natural resources. The 2006 version of the 5-cent coin carries this symbolism forward, with a beautiful, detailed image of the beaver hard at work, building its dam. But while the design might look familiar to anyone who's ever seen a Canadian nickel, it's the minting process that makes the 2006 coin special. You see, the Royal Canadian Mint is known for its craftsmanship and quality, but even the best minting processes aren't immune to errors. It's during these moments of imperfection that truly unique and valuable coins are born. In 2006, the Royal Canadian Mint made an unintentional but incredibly rare mistake. A small number of 5-cent coins were struck with an error that made them more valuable than any other ordinary nickel you might come across. These specific coins, known as the 2006 mottled or blurry nickels, are the ones that sparked a frenzy among collectors. But what exactly is a mottled or blurry nickel? Well, here's where things get interesting. The 2006 Canada 5-cent coin was struck with a minor but significant error that affected the clarity of the design on the reverse side, the beaver. Some of the coins were struck with an uneven distribution of metal, which caused the image of the beaver to appear slightly blurred or mottled. It was an unintended flaw in the minting process, but that flaw would ultimately make these coins incredibly rare and highly desirable for collectors. In numismatics, the value of a coin is often tied to its rarity, demand, and the uniqueness of any flaws or errors it may have. And in the case of the 2006 Canadian 5-cent piece, that mottled effect made the coin stand out from the millions of other 5-cent coins produced that year. As word spread among coin collectors and enthusiasts, these error coins began to be sought after in ways no one could have predicted. But how can you identify one of these rare 2006 blurry or mottled nickels? Well, the first thing to look for is the appearance of the beaver on the reverse side. Under normal circumstances, the image of the beaver should be crisp and clear, with well-defined edges. However, in the case of the mottled or blurry coin, you'll notice that the design is slightly softened or faded. The lines around the beaver's body, tail, and the surrounding elements may appear indistinct, as if the coin was struck with an insufficient amount of metal or with some uneven pressure during the minting process. The more pronounced the blurry effect, the rarer and consequently the more valuable the coin becomes. While it's not always easy to spot a mottled nickel at first glance, a closer inspection will reveal the subtle signs of this error. And if you happen to find one, you could be holding a rare treasure. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how valuable is this coin really? Well, here's the exciting part. While a regular 2006 5-cent piece is worth, well, 5 cents, a 2006 blurry or mottled nickel can be worth much, much more. In fact, these error coins have been known to sell for as much as $31,000 at auctions. Yes, that's right, $31,000 for a coin that was originally worth just 5 cents. Now, I know that might sound unbelievable, but let me explain why it's possible. First of all, the number of these error coins is extremely limited. Out of the millions of 2006 5-cent coins minted, only a small fraction were struck with the mottled or blurry effect. This rarity is what makes them so valuable to collectors. The fact that this flaw wasn't noticed until later on means that only a select few individuals have ever had the chance to own one of these error coins, adding to its appeal in the market. Second, the demand for these rare coins has been steadily rising. As more and more people discover the existence of these rare error coins, the competition among collectors grows. And when demand increases for a rare item, its value naturally rises as well. In the case of the 2006 mottled 5-cent coin, the combination of rarity and demand has led to some truly impressive prices at auctions. But it's not just about the price tag. Owning a 2006 blurry nickel is about having a piece of Canadian history, an artifact of an error that, by all accounts, should never have happened, yet has become a prized item for coin collectors. It's a symbol of the unpredictability of coin production and a reminder that sometimes the most valuable things in life come from mistakes. So, If you're fortunate enough to find one of these 2006 5-cent coins, don't just spend it or toss it aside. Take a closer look and see if you can spot the subtle signs of the minting error. If you think you've found a rare modeled nickel, it might be worth getting it professionally graded by a reputable numismatic service. Grading will help determine its authenticity and condition, which can significantly increase its market value. In the world of coin collecting, it's often the small, seemingly insignificant details that make all the difference. A coin that appears ordinary at first glance could, in reality, be a hidden gem just waiting to be discovered. The 2006 Canada 5-cent coin is a perfect example of this. From a simple design featuring the iconic beaver to the rare minting error that makes it so valuable today, the 2006 5-cent piece is a reminder of the fascinating world of coin collecting and the potential treasures that lie in our pockets, waiting to be found. Next time you come across a 2006 Canadian nickel, take a moment to inspect it closely. Could very well be worth far more than you think. After all, the world of numismatics is filled with surprises, and sometimes those surprises come in the form of a blurry beaver on a 5-cent coin. We have a fascinating story about a coin that might seem like just another nickel at first glance, but holds a hidden history and value that will surprise you. We're talking about the 2011 Canadian 5-cent coin, a coin with a unique backstory that has captured the attention of collectors and enthusiasts alike. Now, most people don't think much about the 5-cent coin. It's small, it's often forgotten in the depths of pockets or coin jars, and it rarely carries any significance beyond its everyday utility. But, as you might expect, in the world of numismatics, there are always those coins that stand out for reasons you wouldn't initially expect. The 2011 Canada 5-cent coin is one of those coins. To truly appreciate the value of the 2011 5-cent piece, we first need to look at its context in history and its design. After all, it's not just the coin itself that makes it special. It's the circumstances surrounding its minting that turn this little nickel into something truly unique. So, let's take a step back in time and see what made the 2011 coin so intriguing. The Canadian 5-cent coin, more commonly known as the nickel, has a rich history that dates back to the early 20th century. The coin has undergone various changes in design and composition over the years, reflecting shifts in Canadian society, the economy, and even technology. While the overall theme of the nickel has remained relatively consistent, with the Queen's portrait on the obverse side and iconic symbols of Canada on the reverse, there have been years when subtle changes or errors made certain coins particularly valuable. The 2011 5-cent coin marks a significant moment in the history of Canadian coinage, as it was the year when the Royal Canadian Mint began to phase out some older minting techniques and adopt new ones. This was the era when coins were transitioning from traditional heavy metals to lighter, more cost-effective alloys. The minting process itself was undergoing a transformation, which, unbeknownst to many, would play a key role in making the 2011 5-cent coin something to watch for. Let's start with the design of the coin itself. The 2011 5-cent coin features the same design that has been a hallmark of Canadian nickels since 1937. The image of a beaver, an animal that has come to symbolize Canada's history and its relationship to the fur trade, which played such a central role in the country's development. The beaver's role in Canadian iconography is undeniable, and it's no surprise that it has remained a staple of the 5-cent coin for decades. The 2011 coin features a beautifully detailed rendition of the beaver, showcasing its resilience and hardworking nature. Qualities that Canadians pride themselves on. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll find the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by artist Susanna Blunt. This image, which has graced Canadian coins for several years, represents the continued connection between Canada and the British monarchy. The Queen's image remains one of the most recognized and revered on Canadian coinage at first glance. The 2011 5-cent coin appears to be just like any other, nothing too unusual or out of the ordinary. But here's where things start to get interesting. When coins are produced, they go through a meticulous process at the Royal Canadian Mint. However, even the most advanced minting processes can have small errors. These errors, though often overlooked, can result in coins that are incredibly rare and valuable. And the 2011 5-cent coin happens to be one of those coins that was impacted by a subtle yet significant error, turning it into a valuable find for collectors. This brings us to the minting flaw that made the 2011 5-cent coin stand out. In this case, it was a phenomenon known as the die clash. A die clash happens when two dies, used to strike the coin, come into contact with each other during the minting process. This creates an imprint of the opposite die on the coin, resulting in a design error. Normally, this would happen in the early stages of the minting process, but in the case of the 2011 Canadian 5-cent coin, the die clash occurred with such subtlety that it went largely unnoticed by the public at first. The die clash on the 2011 5-cent coin resulted in a unique error on the reverse side of the coin. The beaver's image was slightly misaligned, with faint impressions of other design elements visible around the beaver. These faint, unintended markings created a distinct variation on the coin, and numismatists quickly began to take notice of it.at first. The error seemed minor. After all, die clashes have occurred in the past and have resulted in coins that were still considered regular circulating currency. However, as time went on, it became clear that the 2011 5-cent coin with the die clash was a rare find, and that meant only one thing for collectors: value. But how exactly does this error translate into value? To understand that, we need to take a deeper look at the world of coin collecting. In numismatics, the value of a coin is often determined by its rarity, its condition, and the demand from collectors. The 2011 5-cent coin with the die clash has all three of these factors working in its favor. Because the die clash was a subtle yet noticeable flaw, only a small number of these coins were produced. As a result, they are extremely rare, making them highly desirable for collectors' eye. In the world of rare coins, it's not just the minting error that matters. It's also the condition of the coin. Coins that are found in pristine condition, free from scratches or wear, can fetch far higher prices than those that are damaged or heavily circulated. The 2011 die clash 5-cent coins that have been well preserved have become some of the most valuable pieces in the world of Canadian numismatics. So, how much can you expect a 2011 die clash 5-cent coin to be worth? Well, this is where the excitement comes in. While the standard 2011 5-cent coin is worth, 5 cents, the die clash error coin has been known to fetch incredible prices at auctions. Depending on the condition and rarity, these coins can be worth as much as $27,000 or even more. Yes, you heard that correctly, $27,000 for a coin that started its life as a humble 5-cent piece. The rarity of the coin combined with the collector demand for error coins has pushed the price of these 2011 die clash nickels to astronomical heights. If you happen to come across a 2011 5-cent coin, it's worth taking the time to carefully examine it. Look for the subtle signs of the die clash error. Look for those faint, blurry impressions that shouldn't be there. If you find one, congratulations. You might be holding a small treasure in your hands. But remember, not every 2011 5-cent coin is a valuable error coin. In fact, most are just regular nickels that are worth, 5 cents. It's the coins with the die clash error and in excellent condition that hold the most value. So if you think you've found one, it's a good idea to get it professionally graded by a reputable numismatic service. A professional grade can significantly increase the value of the coin, making it a highly coveted item among collectors. The story of the 2011 Canadian 5-cent coin is a perfect example of how even the most seemingly insignificant coins can hold incredible value. From its humble beginnings as a nickel in circulation to its current status as a rare and valuable collector's item, the 2011 5-cent coin with the die clash error has truly become a gem in the world of numismatics. So, the next time you're going through your pocket change or looking through a jar of coins, don't overlook the 2011 5-cent piece. Could very well be worth far more than you think. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes those surprises come in the form of a rare error on a small, seemingly ordinary coin. A coin that might not seem extraordinary at first glance but holds a fascinating history and a story that collectors won't stop talking about. Yes, we're talking about the 2015 Canadian 5-cent coin. You might be wondering, what makes this particular 5-cent piece so special? After all, 5-cent coins are pretty common, right? Well, let me take you on a journey that will reveal why the 2015 5-cent coin has captivated numismatists and collectors alike, and why it could be worth far more than you think. At first glance, the 2015 Canada 5-cent coin seems like just another regular nickel. But, as with many of the most valuable coins in the world, its true worth lies in the details, the subtle things that most people overlook. For some, the value of a coin is based on the artistry of its design. For others, it's all about its rarity. But for coins like the 2015 5-cent piece, its value is a combination of both and much more. To understand why this coin is so special, let's start with a look at its origins and how it fits into the long history of Canadian coinage. The 5-cent coin has been a staple of Canadian currency since it was first introduced in 1858. Initially, it was struck in pure nickel, but over the years, the composition of the coin changed, and by 2015, the Royal Canadian Mint had moved towards a steel-based alloy with a nickel-plated steel coating, which was more cost-effective. However, this change in materials wasn't the only shift that happened during this time. The minting process, too, was evolving, and new technologies were being introduced to create even more detailed and intricate coins. But, with this technological leap, mistakes sometimes happen, and these mistakes are often what turn a regular coin into a collector's treasure. The 2015 5-cent coin features the iconic beaver on its reverse side, an image that's been part of Canada's coinage for decades. The beaver, a symbol of Canada's fur trade and its historical role in the country's development, is one of the most enduring symbols of Canadian heritage. The image on the 2015 nickel is crisp and detailed, showcasing the beaver at work, building its dam. A reminder of the animal's industrious nature and its importance in Canada's history on the obverse side. As with all Canadian coins, we find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This image, designed by Susanna Blunt, has graced Canadian currency since 2003 and continues to serve as a symbol of Canada's ties to the British monarchy. The 2015 5-cent coin is no different in this respect. Nothing too out of the ordinary here, but still an important detail that grounds this coin in Canada's long tradition of royal recognition. But while the design of the 2015 5-cent coin might appear standard, there's one factor that would go on to make this coin stand out in the world of coin collecting. A minting error that would change everything. Like many coins before it, the 2015 5-cent coin was struck with an issue that would go unnoticed by the general public for quite some time. That issue was what's known as a die break or die crack. This minting flaw happens when the die used to strike the coin. Essentially, the stamp that creates the design on the metal is damaged in some way. When this happens, it can cause unintended marks or lines to appear on the coin, which can make it much more valuable than a regular coin. In the case of the 2015 Canadian 5-cent coin, the die break caused a faint but noticeable line to appear across the beaver's image. It wasn't an overt flaw. It wasn't a giant crack or a huge imperfection. In fact, many people probably didn't notice it at all when the coins were initially released. However, the eagle-eyed collectors were the ones who started to spot these subtle differences. And as with most rare and valuable errors, the demand for these coins began to grow. Numismatists recognized that the die break was a rare occurrence, and that the coins featuring this flaw were limited in number. Naturally, this rarity made them far more desirable among collectors. So, what exactly makes these die break coins so valuable? To answer that, we need to understand a little about the coin collecting world. Collectors value rarity above all else. Coins that are in limited supply, especially those with unique features or errors, are highly coveted. A minting flaw doesn't necessarily detract from a coin's value. In fact, it often increases it. In the case of the 2015 5-cent coin, the die break added a layer of intrigue, making it a must-have item for serious collectors. But there's more to the story. As with any rare error coin, The condition of the coin plays a massive role in its overall value. A coin that is in perfect, uncirculated condition is far more valuable than one that has been worn down or damaged. Collectors look for coins that are mint state, meaning they show no signs of wear and tear, and they keep a close eye on even the slightest imperfections. With the 2015 die-break 5-cent coins, those that were kept in pristine condition have seen their value skyrocket. Now, let's talk about how much this coin could be worth if you happen to find one. While a regular 2015 5-cent coin is worth just 5 cents, the die-break error coin can fetch much more. Depending on the severity of the die break and the coin's condition, some of these 2015 5-cent pieces have been known to sell for as much as $20,000 or even more. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change that could be worth that much. It's the kind of discovery that can make anyone's day or even change their life. So, if you come across a 2015 Canada 5-cent coin, how can you tell if it's one of these rare error coins? The key is to look closely at the beaver on the reverse side. If you spot a faint line, often running along the body or tail of the beaver, it's likely a die break. It's subtle, but with a careful eye, you'll be able to identify it. If you think you've found one, it's a good idea to get it professionally graded to confirm its authenticity and condition. A certified coin could be worth far more than you expect, especially if it's in excellent condition. The 2015 Canada 5-cent coin is a perfect example of how something as simple as a minting error can transform a coin from a mundane piece of currency into a rare and highly valuable collector's item. What might seem like just another nickel in your pocket could, in reality, be a hidden gem. And as the world of numismatics shows time and time again, it's often the smallest details that make the biggest impact. So, the next time you reach into your pocket or look through a jar of spare change, take a moment to inspect your coins carefully. You never know when you might come across a rare find. After all, in the world of coin collecting, the value of a coin isn't always tied to its face value. It's the rarity, the history, and the little imperfections that give it true worth. To wrap up, the 2015 Canadian 5-cent coin is much more than just another nickel. Thanks to the die-break error that occurred during its minting, it has become a prized item among collectors. And with a value of up to $20,000 for the most pristine examples, it's easy to see why this coin has sparked so much interest. So, keep an eye on your change and remember, sometimes the most valuable things are the ones we least expect. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and leave a comment down below with your thoughts or any questions. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.